you landed a multi-million dollar case just months after opening, and that's uncommon most of the time. So walk me through that. What was the case? How did you land it? Tell me about that experience.
Yeah. So I actually was a plaintiff's lawyer with a couple of firms before I decided to open up my own law firm. Once I decided that that was the best path for me professionally, I opened my own law firm, and daily I could see that I was doing, I was where I was supposed to be. I was doing what I wanted to do, what I loved. I had discretion as to everything, like
Mhm.
everything from the color of the logo to our procedures. Like I started having a weekly meeting with myself to review my cases, and that was tons of fun. But it did involve a level of dedication and commitment that, even though before I loved the law, I loved litigating, I loved all these things, now this was my baby. And so to get that call and to actually represent that family, that case, took dozens of calls that were not it, right? It took a lot of, I mean, I actually got the call for that case in the middle of my bachelorette party.
Oh,
And I
wow.
remember, yeah, it wasn't a party, it was a trip. But I remember
Mhm.
telling my husband, like, this is the worst time. Like, I'm trying to disconnect, I'm trying to enjoy, like, this is a once in a lifetime experience. And it was just a sacrifice that was well worth it. But yeah, it boils down to, I basically cultivated that from months and even years before. The trust in the community for people to know that I was competent to handle their case, or that they could trust me. And then it
Mhm.
led to that call. I didn't wake up and then all of a sudden I had this multi-million dollar case. Really, it was a woman who was in the hospital, had been hit by a driver, and that's all I knew. And then it ended up evolving to what it became.
A lot of attorneys, I think, if they would get that early, big check, they would go blow it. Maybe they get the car, the change the lifestyle. You decided, no, like, hey, I'm going to build something. You built an 8-figure firm instead. So, from receiving that, how did you think about like what you were going to do from an investment, like what you were going to do with this money, and then how did you build the firm from that?
Yeah. Well, at first, I think confirmed what I kind of knew in my heart. Like, I felt I was ready for such a case. And, once we got that resolution, I'm like, there's no reason to doubt myself any longer. Like, I can do this, but do I want to do it alone? And, the intentional choice of, I'm going to be a two or more attorney law firm rather than a solo practitioner, is what led me to start putting together a plan, basically, to become that, instead of going the other route. And definitely, I think there are just so many factors. Like, some people don't grow up with wealth or whatnot, and once they have it, they want it, and they want to, all the flashy things. I didn't grow up that way, but that's never been my motivation, or what I'm seeking, or my ultimate goal. No criticism, to whoever that has that as a goal. It just wasn't mine. Mine was, I want more of these cases. I want to make life-changing impact on families. And to get those, I could handle that case. Maybe I could handle, two, three of those massive cases. But if I really wanted to make a difference, it would take a whole team.